Elementary schools in Missouri are required to schedule at least 20 minutes of recess every day. Billy Brightman joining us live to tell us how the largest school district in the state balances playtime with class time. Billy, good morning.
Good morning. Springfield Public Schools go above that minimum requirement. They require 30 minutes of recess every day and also encourage kids to get involved in active clubs in before and after school activities. Recess can act as a mental break for kids, helping them return to class recharged and more focused. But even when kids are on the playground, they're still learning. They come away from playtime with improved social skills, problem-solving skills, and emotional regulation. And outside of these requirements, SPS encourages teachers of all age levels to incorporate movement into their lessons, even something as simple as having students stand to share their answers.
If the movement is structured and intentional, the energy that comes out of that can be funneled into the learning process. If you just tell kids to get up and dance and just give them no structure, then the energy will follow that. Sometimes kids coming in from recess, but if the movement is structured and tight, the energy can flow into and benefit to the learning.
And don't forget that the first day for Springfield Public Schools is tomorrow. Live in Springfield, Billy Brightman, KY3 News.
Yeah.